It's time for part 19 of the Stuart Major Beam engine rebuild. This is about the cylinder and the valve chest. This engine has sat in my workshop for about 18 months, and I've not really done much with it. I test ran it originally, and I found it to be appalling. There's absolutely no power with the engine, so I think it's time to investigate that further. A couple of episodes ago, I showed the piston rings, and I wasn't overwhelmed with the finish on the piston rings. But then again, the finish in the bore is beautiful, it's like glass. So I'm a little puzzled why there was no power. Alright, if the piston rings are not perfect, they're going to pass a little bit, but this was blowing a lot. So I think it's time to investigate further. Before painting the cylinder, I think it's a good idea to look in the valve chest. Here I'm removing the gasket. I assume the T means top. And inside I see a very fancy looking valve. It really looks quite sweet, I've never seen one like this before. So the first port of call, pardon the pun, to find out where the engine's blowing is to have a look at the port face, and that looks alright. And then, oh dear, looking at the valve, this does not look good. What a strange construction. Now I don't have a drawing for this, or I probably do, but I don't know where it is. But this doesn't look right to me at all. I'll take the valve out and have a closer look. This must be the most bizarre slide valve design I've ever seen. I can't see this being like the drawing. Anyway, this piece of metal that holds the valve rod in place is proud of the main slide valve itself, so it's just going to pass air or steam straight from inlet to exhaust, which would explain why there's no power getting to the piston. So the first port of call for a solution is a simple one. Use the existing parts and make them work. I'm using Loctite 542, which is hydraulic sealant, and when I put the pieces together with this stuff, not only does it stick them together, with the help of these small countersunk bolts, it's really going to be a tight and almost permanent fit. It doesn't have the grab of 603, but it is a really good sealant, and I use it on boiler fittings all the time, so I know that it will be fine with the temperature in the steam chest. What I need to do first, and most importantly, is make sure that the front face of this slide valve is completely flat. Not like it was before, with the small piece of metal being proud of the valve face and lifting it permanently off the port face. In case you're wondering why the paper is wet, it's not that I'm spitting on it or anything like that. It's a little machine oil. What this does is lubricates the paper and allows it to cut more freely and remove more metal at each pass. If you use the paper dry, it does tend to clog up and after a while doesn't cut quite as well. The purists may be saying, oh, you should be using a surface plate for this, it's not flat enough, but it is really. For what I'm doing here, this piece of brand new birch plywood is quite flat. You could use plate glass. I've actually used old Land Rover windows in the past, they're quite good. But the easiest way is to just get something flat and rub away until you get it perfect, like this. You can't hardly see the gap between the two pieces of metal now. So being in the middle of a massive adrenaline rush after fixing the valve, I thought I'd calm myself down by doing some more painting. I'd already degreased this cylinder using cellulose thinners or lacquer thinners, and it's time to paint it. I'm not too worried that there's bits of paint going on the exhaust port face. This will come off much easier when it's dried. Obviously this is speeded up, I don't normally paint at this speed, and I'm trying really hard not to get any drips. But I want a good coating of paint on the cylinder. Once this has been in steam, this paint will start to bake onto the cylinder and should look quite good. As usual with the rest of the engine, I'm using Precision Paints LMS Crimson Lake Red. As I've said many times before, I get this paint from my friends at Blackgates Engineering. The web address is on screen at the moment, and they do worldwide mail order. I really do like this paint. I find it very durable and very easy to apply. It goes on like a dream, and generally speaking, just before the paint dries, suddenly all the brush marks disappear. This must be some sort of witchcraft. It's time now to paint the steam chest, and as you can see, I'm only painting the centre of the steam chest. I'm leaving the two outer edges plain cast iron. I'm not bothering too much if I get any red paint on there because it'll be very easy to remove once the paint's dried. This is quite a simple job. I'm only showing it to go through the motions. I'm painting the gland housing, but I'm only painting the bottom half of it. I want the top part to be left in cast iron. A while back some viewer asked me why I didn't use nuts where they contact the metal plate, and the reason for this is if you look at the full size, generally on cylinder covers and steam chest covers, washers aren't used, the nuts directly contact the metal. Then often, everything's just painted over the steam chest cover or the cylinder cover, including the nuts. In this case, the nuts are not going to be painted, but the steam chest cover, as you can see clearly here, is being painted. So if I use bare nuts onto the paint, when I tighten them up, the nuts will just scrub off the paint. Hence the requirement for some washers there. That's it for this one. Thanks for watching, and I hope you found it useful.